I would see people like judging me, and even like my own teachers. One day this kid came up and he was like, "Why do you read that? It's like it's all fake. None of it's the truth."
All right, welcome to episode 7 of the Just God podcast. Today's topic is facing persecution, and this is our special guest, Lauren Eck, and she's going to read the verse of the week.
I'll be reading from Matthew 5:10 through 12. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you, the people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you.
So what do y'all think about that verse? What verse is, I guess?
Verses, yeah.
Yeah.
Kill him with kindness. That's what Brock said.
Oh, yeah.
But we talked about that in our Bible class today, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like respond with hate, with kindness.
Yeah.
Pretty much kill him with kindness.
Kill him with
Yeah.
kindness.
But I feel like also like persecution can come from like anywhere.
Mhm.
Like it can come from a person, but can also come from like a group of people too.
Yeah.
Like today in Bible class we were talking about Jesus was talking about that people I think it was church Sunday or whatever, and he was talking Jesus was talking about how like even the government can persecute you, and like higher powers will persecute you.
Mhm.
And
We're still to respect authority.
yeah.
That's what Romans chapter 13 talks about.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the questions.
All right.
All right, we'll let Lauren answer the first one.
Okay.
What should we do when someone is mean to us because we love Jesus?
At my old school, it wasn't a good environment, and in my free time and stuff, because we'd have like free class periods and breaks, I would always like take out my Bible and just like finish my devotion I was doing, and I would see people like judging me, and even like my own teachers. And one day it kind of like I never really paid attention to them, just because I was kind of like, I mean, it was just me and God, like I didn't care what other people thought. But one day this kid came up and he was like, "Why do you read that? It's like it's all fake. None of it's the truth. I don't know why like you read that, because you don't have to know any of that." And I guess that was the day I just kind of realized that people like don't know anything about God.
Mhm.
And I was just wanting to always like strengthen my relationship, and I never thought that people just didn't know anything. So when people are rude to me about like my faith and God and everything, I try to just tell them like, I think you should try reading it too, or at least like, or I offer like, do you want to pray with me, or do you want to read this with me, so that they can see like that it's the truth and all of it's real too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. Have
There's a verse I'm looking for that.
well, while I was looking, have you ever like dealt with like persecution? Because I know like just like Lauren has, but I can't think of a time. I don't know, maybe I feel like one time that I guess I could say, but like it wasn't towards me. I just heard someone talk about like how the Bible was like fake and how creation couldn't happen with a creator. There is like a Big Bang or whatever. I wish I would have said something to him, but I was too shy enough to not say anything, so I kind of regret it. But
So in John 15 verse 18 and 19, Jesus says, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own, as it is. You do not belong in the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you."
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of like what Brock said.
That's NIV version, by the way.
Like persecution doesn't have to be directly to you. You know, it could just be like something you hear.
Yeah.
Something somebody else said to another person, like God's not real or something.
Yeah.
Personally, I've never dealt with like that or something like that. I mean, I've heard people not believe in God, but I've never had someone like come up to
Face
me,
to face.
yeah, and say like, "I don't like you because of your faith or whatever." But you know, yeah.
You know, a lot of times we think we have it bad because of the persecution we face, but Jesus faced even worse persecution for what when he claimed to be God, and he told everybody that he was God, and the punishment he took for what he believed in, and or what he tried to spread, the message he tried to spread to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like the disciples also were well persecuted,
Oh yeah.
especially. I know I always talk about Matthew because he's my favorite because, I mean, he went from a tax collector to following Jesus. But I bet like the people he worked underneath of probably thought he was like crazy because I mean, he was living like the best life, yeah. And I mean, I'm sure I don't know if the Bible talks about it. If it does, I don't know. But like, I bet they persecuted him like bad. I mean, I've seen The Chosen, and they kind of was like, "What the heck, dude? You're chilling right now, so why would you leave us?" And probably also like another like group of disciples, I guess, is Peter and his brother leaving like their father, they're fishing or whatever. But yeah.
There's like so many examples,
Mm-hmm.
of persecution towards the disciples.
Yeah.
Like, just why? Because some of them like somewhat lived good lives.
Mhm.
Some of them were just like fishermen.
Yeah.
Like James, John, Peter, Andrew. But again, back to Matthew, like he was living such a good life because I know tax collectors made so much money.
Oh yeah.
He even says like he had like a big house and all this,
Mhm.
Yeah, he gave it all away just to follow Jesus, which is like incredibly motivating.
Yeah. I think that's why he's my favorite disciple.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2. Has anyone ever laughed at you or treated you badly because you're a Christian?
I wouldn't say to me personally.
Yeah, like kind of like I said, no one
Yeah.
directly.
I guess like I feel like one like I guess event that I've seen is the people. I'm not sure where it was at, but the people that got beheaded that we talked about like in past
yeah.
episodes.
Mm-hmm. That's like in the first episode.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Though I mean, there's Christians that gets persecuted every day though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess like I talked about it when Pastor Matthew came on, when the Lord spoke to me to go to Walmart, and I was persecuted then when I told those people about Jesus, and they laughed at me and acted like I was crazy, and they laughed at me and told me to have a good day, and I felt like an outsider then, and so that's a moment when somebody's laughed at me for what I believed in, and tried to warn them about the eternal damnation that you'll face if you're not following him.
Yeah. I just want to say something like kind of a question just to you, but like after that happened, like you said it was like demotivating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Very.
did you ever like grow out of that? Not grow out of it, but, like get past it, like move on, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. After that happened, I was more afraid to, do what the Lord told me to do because I was scared of, that happening again, like getting laughed at or getting looked at crazy. But I mean, that's a part of the job. That's a part of the job. That's a part of the role of being a Christian. I mean, you're going to be looked at like you're crazy or laughed at. I mean, that's just part of being in the world.
Mm-hmm. Trying to find the scripture of when Jesus tells the disciples that like when they go out and preach the gospel, there's going to be people like Ray said.
Isn't that Matthew?
Maybe, but I don't really know. I read it somewhere, but
Yeah, isn't it this one? Matthew chapter 10.
Maybe, yeah.
Jesus sends out the 12 apostles.
Yeah, because he, where's it at? Yep, here it is right here. It says, "But beware, for you will be handed over to the courts and will be flogged with whips in the synagogues." And then it also says, where's it at? "Oh, when you are persecuted in one town, flee to the next. I tell you the truth, the Son of Man will return before you've reached all the towns of Israel." So kind of like how Brent was saying, like with rejection, I look at it you need to look at it as a redirection. And
That's nice. I like that.
And like when you do get rejected, that shouldn't be like your ending point. That should be your starting point. Because I mean, you're probably gonna get told no, or I don't do that, so I don't listen to the gospel or whatever. But I mean, there's going to be people out there. You're going to have to like realize there's probably going to be some no's in there, and there's going to be some yeses. But I mean, that's part of the walk with Christ. Is, I mean, you're not going to get. Not everyone's going to be or receive the gospel or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I leave Bible knowledge. I found it.
I thought it was. I knew it was somewhere. I knew it was somewhere in there, but I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. But hold up. I had the verse on my phone, but I want to read it on my Bible. So like you said, it's gonna be kind of like how Jesus told them. It's gonna be hard, you know.
Mhm.
Sometimes you will get persecution, and a verse that I like to read is Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13. It says, "You can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. Narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide for the many who chose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few ever find it." I like that little part there where it says,
Yeah.
"The road is difficult," you know,
Mhm.
because it's not. Is Jesus telling you like, you following Christ is going to be an easy path, right?
Yeah.
It's not just going to be like you'll never face persecution, you'll never receive hate. It's going to be easy to follow me. But
Yeah.
he says instead the exact opposite, that the road will be difficult.
Mhm.
It is very narrow, and that only a few ever find it.
Yeah.
So that's what I love. You know, he prepares you in a
Mhm.
way, saying you need to be prepared because it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's in fact going to be really hard,
Mhm.
but through me, you can do it. You know.
Yeah, because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Oh yeah.
You ever watch like Cliff Stewart?
Oh yeah.
You watch him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever seen like clips of him or anything?
I may
The,
have.
the it's like an older guy and a younger guy, and they're like it's his dad and son, and like Bryce Crawford and all them. They face persecution on the regular. Like there's always
Yeah.
somebody going up to him and trying to like debate him and shut him down, and it's honestly like very encouraging when you see him just keep going, even though that person's trying to shut him down and like make him stop. They just go stronger.
Yeah.
So that really just motivates me seeing those guys just keep striving for God.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought of another time that I kind of felt like rejected when I was like trying to like introduce faith to a lot of the people like from my past. I was at my school again, and one of a friend of mine, their dad was really, really, really sick, and I went up to her and I asked her how she was doing and everything, and I asked her to see her hand so I could pray with her, and she like physically pushed my hands down and said, "Don't bother because it doesn't work."
Mm.
And I was like, I mean, in that moment, I got like choked up because
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
to think people, like prayer works. I've
Mhm.
seen it
Yeah.
with my own eyes,
Yeah.
prayer works. And to know that people don't think it does, it like hurts my heart.
Yeah.
So I think another like thing with facing persecution is like also temptation,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
a lot of the reason that these people don't like follow Christ is because of some of the stuff that they've been tempted to do and choices that they've made.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. We
I
talked
think,
about that.
like you said, I think
Yeah.
persecution comes from like past experiences too. It's like you don't know what they've dealt with, like you know how that girl pushed her hand away. I mean, some people don't know like what they're going through at home, like her dad being sick. So, in that case, we have to be very patient with those who persecute us.
I feel like also when like persecutors they push towards is they look at Christians to be like they're supposed to be perfect. Like you make one mistake and they're gonna like
Hell, to a higher
get on
standard.
top of you. Yeah. And also like I feel like also kind of like we was talking about past experiences. They I know some people they've had like bad experiences or that had a bad experience in church and didn't grow up like in a I guess a good church or whatever. I don't really know, but that's I feel like just going back to like situation like things.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful that I am a patient person and that I can see that in people, because her saying that prayer doesn't work, there has to be a reason behind that. Someone
Mhm.
told her
Yeah.
that or something happened to make her think that way.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to one of my teachers who was like one of the people at that school that I really trusted, and I told her that, and then we prayed for her, just
Mhm.
kind of like with just me and my teacher.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I'm not sure. I haven't talked to her since then, but I really hope that she's doing well. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another thing is that prayer is not gonna fix all your problems, and not to say that like in a negative way,
Yeah.
but like what you might pray about, you know,
May
might
not
need to
hap-
happen.
Yeah. Or
It
it might
might
not
be-
happen your way.
Exactly. Like God might be like, I hear you, but that's not how it's supposed to go right now. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like for example, you're asking for money, right? Let's
Yeah.
say you want to be rich. You're like, God, please make me a billionaire, right? But He knows that if you become a billionaire, you're gonna become a different person with money. You're gonna become greedy. You're gonna
Yeah.
be like,
Prideful,
yeah,
arrogant.
exactly.
All
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
that comes with money.
Yeah, He's not
Which
gonna
money's
make
not
you.
a bad thing, but
He's not gonna make you poor.
Yeah.
But yeah. He's not. He knows you. You know.
Yeah.
He made you. So
Mhm.
there's definitely some stuff that you might ask for and you might not receive because God knows He can't give it to you, or it's not the time, or it might just not be. You know, like you can't have everything your way.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. All right, you want to go to the next question? Y'all got
Sure.
anything else?
Yeah.
No,
I'm good.
Okay. Are we on the third question?
I don't
think
care.
so.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good either way. Bring him on.
Let the games begin.
Imagine we answered the same question. Like, okay. So question number 3. This one's a little confusing. How do we pray for people who are hurt because they follow Jesus? So that means, I'll give you an example real quick. Let's say Pablo goes to the store and he tells somebody about Jesus and he gets hurt from it. How can we pray for Pablo? Because he was a follower of Christ, but he got hurt following him because the Lord told you to go talk to him.
I'll probably tell myself. I'll probably pray that like they don't get what's the word for it? Demotivated,
Yeah.
and that God can keep giving them the strength to like share the gospel,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to one thing I like to do is I like to see how Jesus dealt with it. I'd like to an example is the verse I read. You know, if the world hates you, keep in mind it hated me first. Just I like to read the Bible and show them what the Bible says about what they're facing with, because what I may say, what I might think, may not be true, but the Bible is true, and it never lies, and it's always got the solution to every problem. Like you said, like maybe it's not the way that it may go for you, but it is the solution for joy.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. And kind of what Pastor Matthew was talking about on the podcast, his sometime, but happiness is like way different than joy. Happiness is only for a certain period of time,
Short term.
or short term, and joy is like everlasting. Like it's crazy. It's
Money-
indescribable.
Money can buy happiness, but it can't buy joy.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, talking about persecution, who do you think our generation is the most persecuted? Like, I guess, like our,
I really think that Jesus's time had the most persecution,
People got
because
killed.
you didn't even.
Well, they still do.
Yeah.
They still do, but like
it was
more
bad
normal.
then,
It was
yeah.
more normal. Now it's like
Like
you know,
if
shocking.
you
Yeah.
back then, if you said that Jesus was God, you were cooked. Like you were dead. You were
Have you
dead.
guys seen have you guys fully seen The Chosen or not?
I haven't.
I've
I
watched, like, the
haven't
first
watched
season.
But there's just one scene where he's like, Jesus is in the sanctuary and he's claiming to be the Son of God,
Mhm.
and the guy's like, under the law of Moses, you cannot say that. And then it's so tough, but he's like, I am the law of Moses, and they try to like kill him or whatever.
Dang.
But yeah, that was good. I like that line.
Yeah.
I'm not really like a big watcher in The Chosen. I wanna watch
It's
it,
long,
though.
so you got to be like
Yeah. You
patient.
gotta,
'Cause each episode is like an hour 20.
it's probably also
sometimes.
good for like.
It's like
visual.
a little movie each time.
Yeah, because like premiering, like I wanted to watch the recent The Chosen season 5
Mhm.
series, and there's only 2 episodes yet. It was like 2 hours and a half, and it's 8 episodes every season, so
Yeah.
it's definitely really long. But I enjoy it. I enjoy
Yeah.
watching it.
Have you watched Chosen?
I don't
No?
know. I've seen like parts of it, but I've never like watched.
I just
the whole
remember Coach
thing.
B shows too. So I was like, last
Every
time.
single day, every single week.
Yeah.
Yeah, every Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was singing the theme song.
But I think also like going off like the chosen, I feel like for me, since I'm a visual learner, it like brings it to life. I don't know, like I know it happened, but just to see like a picture of it is like I don't know, it helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like the my favorite chosen episode that I've watched was when Jesus healed the man with leprosy.
Oh yeah.
That one was like really, really powerful.
Mine was the paralyzed man, like on the mat.
That's
whenever-
the same one. Yeah.
Oh, it is?
was it, you said leprosy? Or paralyzed?
No, it was paralyzed.
Okay.
My
You
bad.
got the little like thing, the thing that
You're
water
like,
would
get
come
up.
out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the most like
Yeah.
watched episode, I say.
Mm.
Yeah, but still gets me too sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. You want to add anything?
I got something.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what's crazy
What?
is
Like
like.
deeper.
Okay.
Anyways, you know what's you know what's crazy is that like Jesus, even though people like persecuted him, they like followed him around. Like the Pharisees, they were like on his hip, like
Oh yeah.
on the like all the time
On his way?
on his hip.
Hip.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
yeah. I mean,
They're on
I'm
his
thinking
head.
Like, I'm thinking like
They're-
I don't
He was
know,
on his
like,
back the whole
his
time.
hip.
Yeah, but anyways, they like them and the Sadducees, I think they're called.
Sadducees?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even
But
know
like
either.
Jesus had like they were. We don't really have people that like follow us around and like persecute us or like watch every step. I mean, there is people like do like watch us, but Jesus had people watching him 24/7, which is crazy because I don't know. I'd fold under pressure probably.
Yeah.
But Jesus is the Son of God, so he was
Yeah.
chilling.
All right. Question number 4. Does God want us to do what's right even when it's hard? Or let me rephrase that. Why does God want us to do what's right even when it's hard?
What does God want us to do?
Why does he want us to do something that's like hard to make sense?
I guess he just doesn't want like I said, Jesus said himself, it'll be really hard to become a Christian and follow him.
Yeah,
But you just gotta lean on him. That's all I can really say.
yeah.
Because you can't lean on your own understanding. Like you
Mhm.
said, you can't just rely on yourself to fix all your problems. You gotta give some of that to God. You know,
Yeah.
do your
Yeah.
part. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
My answer would be because he wants us to go against the world. Whatever the world does, he wants us to do the exact opposite. And like worldly things and fleshly stuff, or fleshly stuff, you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, we'll go to question 5 because that one's a little like
I feel like we've somewhat answered already.
Yeah, kinda.
yeah. I mean that one's it's worded weird, worded
Yeah.
very weird. Why does God, or why do some people not like Christians? Because the world or Satan influences the people into not liking the truth and the solution to our problems. Because Satan is going to attack, and we've talked about this since day one. Satan's going to attack the true religion, the true key to life. You know, why would he attack a religion or a belief that's, you know, not real, or, you know, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think again, like Brock said earlier, a lot of people have had like bad experiences in church or like I know a lot of people claim to be Christian, but then like they don't act Christian. And so I think that some people who are just like viewing that think that that's what like who Christians actually are. So they just don't know what to believe. I
Yeah.
think is another reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got like hypocrite Christians, and people see them out in the bar, and then on a Saturday night, and then go to church next Sunday, and then they're like, well, I mean, that's not really a good example to follow, I guess. Or
Yeah.
it all depends. I feel like persecution. I was going off temptation. I don't know what, but I feel like persecution can honestly kind of go like, I don't know how to word it. Can kind of go off ourselves too. I mean, maybe we don't say it with our words, but it could be with our actions too.
Yeah.
Like, I guess doing bad stuff could
Mhm.
be, I don't know. I don't know how to word it. I'm going to stop right there.
It's all good.
All right. So, you want to say anything? Put you on the spot.
What was the question again?
So, does Pablo want to say anything?
What was the question again?
Why do some people not like Christians?
Oh yeah, I think it also depends on like people who have other religions. They
Mhm.
might think our religion is the wrong one, right? They might be like, "No, we're right, you're wrong," kind of
Yeah.
situation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I think I don't remember what it was. It must have been Islam or Muslim. It's like they believe Jesus isn't the Son of God, that he's like a prophet.
Yeah, it's Islam.
Islam, yeah, they're like he isn't the Son of God. He says it a lot of times though in the Bible, so.
Yeah.
I'm
but-
not that deep into it, but like I just heard it. I
Yeah.
guess.
Mhm.
But I want to add something to mine is, I said that, Satan influences, and when he influences people not liking Christians, that can be through social media, and like stuff they see on social media, like false stuff, like how Christians hate like people who are like gay or struggle with drugs or struggle with drinking, like stuff like that. Question number 6. How can we be kind to people who ain't kind to us?
It's kind of tough.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah, because I
I
think it's just
think-
human nature. Or sorry, I just let me just say this. I feel like it's human nature to just answer back with anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go.
I've said this like multiple times, but just with like being patient
Mm-hmm.
and just being able to see like the good in people,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really easy for me because like I think also you might have experienced it before if people are like not nice to me and then I kill them with kindness like Brock was saying.
Hey, it goes with everything.
I strike back like kindly. Like
Mhm.
I don't get mad at people. I don't raise my voice. I'm like sometimes I even start like gentle parenting them. Like I'll be like, "Well, why did you do that?" and stuff like that because then
Yeah.
it confuses them.
Yeah.
But I do all of that because I know that's what God wants.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cause
Even
you
though
never
it may be
know.
hard
Mhm.
to, retaliate in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
like how Pastor Matthew said this morning
Yeah.
that he wanted to defend himself. He wanted
Yeah.
to be like, "No, that wasn't." I don't know if you did. Okay, no. I don't think she heard the story. When Pastor Matthew was like his neighbor.
Yeah.
He's like really old.
Imagine he's seeing this.
He's like playing. What were you playing? Drums.
He was playing
He was playing
yeah.
drums really loud at night, and he got like a complaint, and officers came to his house, and he thought it was Pastor Matthew that
Yeah.
complained. So he wrote him like a letter full of like just cussing him out, pretty much, which is kind of funny. I've never seen someone cuss someone out. Like a letter, yeah, just like a dub. But when Pastor Matthew got it, he said that his wife's like was like, we should go like,
Let's go over there right now.
yeah, let's go over there and tell him that was not us, and like kind of anger, I guess,
Yeah.
respond anger with anger. But he was like, no, let me just. He wrote back a letter, and then like someone like explaining the
Mhm.
situation, and the old man he was like, he said you didn't write this with your pencil, you wrote this with your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And he said that they became friends after. So
Yeah.
that's a cool story. I like that.
Yeah,
story.
that one's.
Yeah, I just
really,
had to
really
recap it since you weren't there. Yeah.
Yeah. Pastor Matthew also said, respond when you respond to a bad word, respond with a kind word. Because I mean, if you're like, for me, if I'm being angry with somebody, the last thing I want to hear is a kind word. Like you're like, I don't know, just like flip, like you just like get out of it, I guess.
Yeah.
So kill them with kindness. Kill your persecutors with kindness.
Okay. But yeah, the Bible tells us to turn the other cheek. So, somebody's, obviously being mean to us, we just shouldn't respond. in the way that our flesh wants us to.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I always think, when I always get mad at somebody, I always think, what would Jesus do? Like, how would he respond and how would he act when he's facing the same situations I'm going through? All right. Number 7. Can hard times help us get closer to God?
Oh yeah.
Through
I think so.
We've talked about that so many
persecution.
times.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need pain to grow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You need lessons so you
Yeah.
can learn.
Yeah.
You can obviously you grow closer to God when you read your Bible and everything, but you really, really get close to God when you're going through hard times, and you get through those hard times with Him. It's like a bonding experience, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think going back to my answer to the first question, that when the kid came up to me and told me like none of it was true,
Mm-hmm.
that like was a really big, had a big effect on me. Like I let him say that to me and I didn't say anything back. And so I was like scared to take my Bible out in class of being judged again, but like I think that helped me grow stronger, realizing that like some of these kids that are like surrounding me, they don't know who God is. They've never like read a Bible verse. They've never gone to church, like none of it. So it helped me to realize like maybe if I take my Bible out and I read, someone will get curious and want to read
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
So I think that's another way I grow stronger, is wanting to help others grow stronger in their faith too.
Yeah.
You know, even if they don't want to read the Bible, and they have no interest in reading the Bible, this is what Pastor Matthew says. He says, some people, the only Bible they read is you, and that means show them the Bible through your actions.
Yeah.
Something Lauren said that reminded me when you guys were asking have you guys ever been persecuted. Now that I think of it, I remember one time I was like in elementary school, and I pulled out my Bible and I started reading, and these kids that I think 2 of these kids came up to me like, why are you reading the Bible? You know, like in school.
Yeah.
And it's not like some people that are asking that are like against Christianity. They're just like
Yeah.
not used to seeing it, you know,
Mhm.
somewhere like school.
Yeah.
Except here now.
Yeah.
Go to like a Christian school, but like back in like our or public school,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it was just kind of weird seeing that. So yeah,
Yeah.
just something I remembered.
I did not have a good experience with elementary school. I got trapped in the bathroom. No,
Other
listen,
kids?
I think I was in like preschool,
Yeah.
and I used the bathroom, washed my hands, and it's like preschool through first grade. I try to go out of the classroom, and this kid's just like standing like this. And I try like, please let me out. He's like, only first graders can get out of here.
How old were you?
I was in preschool.
I can just imagine.
I tried to get through his legs, and he wouldn't let me, and I tried to push him, and I just like finally got out.
Only first grade.
I need
Almost
best
first.
kid. Then.
I told my mom, my like whole family. I'm still traumatized. every time I
turned
go
around,
to,
he looked at me with a big smile.
every time I go to the bathroom, I'm still worried that it's gonna happen. Let me out of here. Okay, so question number 8. Yeah. What did Jesus' friends do when people were mean to them?
Jesus' friends,
Yeah.
like his disciples. Or,
Yeah.
like, when other people were mean to them,
Yeah.
I think it's like
Whoa,
control
whoa.
your anger. Or,
What did Jesus' friends do when people were mean to them? Like
That's what he said?
what did the disciples do when people were mean to them?
or like Peter sliced off a Roman.
Yeah. that's the first thing that came out. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
That boy was ready to die for you.
Yeah, but he's like, chill out.
I don't really remember. I mean, I guess John, he got persecuted. Like, I mean, they tried to they sent him on an island,
Oh yeah.
but he still stayed faithful to God. Also, like someone that got persecuted a lot. Well, I mean, I guess not by people, but was Job. Like
Ooh,
he
yeah.
lost like like it may not have been. People were like, "Yeah, why don't you believe in that? Like that's fake or whatever." But I mean, he literally lost everything. Like I
Even
guess
his wife though, like kind of persecuted him. Like,
yeah, like
leave God. You know?
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, your life's being
yeah.
ruined right now, so just
Yeah,
leave him or whatever. Stop
Yeah.
believing.
yeah.
So, how do you think you can face persecution when it's your family members or somebody you're very, very close to?
Wait, that's way more tough.
Yeah.
yeah,
Someone close to you saying
yeah. It's you don't want to argue with them, but at the same time, you're like, I got to.
I've
I
never
guess
dealt
you
with
just-
someone like
Well, not
that.
really. I don't know if for like art. I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, I
Do
guess
that out of love.
I would just pray for them without
Yeah.
them, like, just every time I would go to sleep or just, every chance I get, I would just pray that the Lord would open their eyes and, open their heart to
Yeah.
what He has for them.
Sometimes a good thing too is like,
And
I
just
mean,
talk to Him.
yeah. I was about to say that.
But I
like,
mean, like, some people don't have no interest in talking about it, so the only
Yeah.
thing you can do is just pray for them.
yeah. It all depends on the person.
I have a family member in my family who is really struggling with their faith right now. So I try to like talk to her,
Mm-hmm.
but she just kind of doesn't want to. Like she'll listen and she'll sit there and she'll listen, but you can tell she's just not engaged in the conversation.
Yeah.
She doesn't
Yeah.
she doesn't want to hear it. So she kind of just like sits there and lets me talk and occupies herself with something else. So I kind of try, and I mean I pray for her like every night.
Yeah.
But it's still, I just sometimes feel like I could be doing more. But I still pray for her and I still try to talk to her, but it's just like hard to see it, especially when it's someone
Oh,
in
yeah.
your family or really close.
For sure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you see them struggling, it just makes it feel like it's your fault or like you could be doing something else. But
And that's what the devil wants you to think. He wants to think that everything's your fault, but but he wants you to think that everything's your fault and every bad situation is because of you. But what we have to do in that time is we have to go to God and, just talk to God and just be like, Lord, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I think. I'm thinking that this is because of me. And, with me, it's just like the Lord's like, chill down, Brant. This ain't because of you. This is because what the world's done to people and done to just everybody around you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think too, Christianity is definitely the most like mocked and persecuted religion, like 100%. Because I feel like people deep down they know, like there's so much evidence that the Bible was actually real and Jesus came down on earth, and like there's just so much evidence that it's hard. Right now, it's hard to like, I guess, not believe it.
and honestly, I feel like the closer you get to God, the more the more persecution that comes your way. And I face that a lot. The closer I get to God, the more trouble and the more people come up to me and, just give me a hard time,
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to add anything?
I was gonna say, I also feel like persecution, like it hits you at the worst times
Oh, yeah.
because
Sure.
I'll be like really struggling or having a lot of anxiety or just like especially when I'm like not well rested and I'm sick and I'm just like at my worst, that's when people will say something.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, I've been like people try to like obviously I think every single day you guys can agree that temptations are there.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of the time it's other people trying to
Mhm.
get you to do things that you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's just like it always happens at like the worst times on the worst days. And then sometimes I like tell myself I have to sit there and like lay my head down and tell myself like it's not God, it's not true.
Yeah.
This is like I remember like what would Jesus do in this situation? Stay patient and like know that God is like with me
Yeah.
the whole time.
Exactly. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
So that's going to be the end of the podcast. We just want to thank all of you that's made it to the end and has been watching us for a while. And
Thank you for having me here.
you're welcome.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.